Life's a game, the world's a stage, and we are merely role-players, where theatrical people play role-playing games. I'm Matt Boothman, and I'm your compere for this main house production. Here on Merely Role-Players, we improvise stories, for your entertainment and our own. And we use role-playing games to keep the story going places even we can't see coming. Because as theatrical people, we're all about maximising the drama. This is Act 1 of Vigil, Quarry, one of our main house productions. The main house is where we stage ongoing, serial stories, with characters and plots that develop and unfold over several productions. Vigil is the story of the outsiders and weirdos who step up to defend their neighbours from monsters and worse, after the government cuts their town's official team of paranormal investigators. To tell this story, we're playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat. Quarry is the 5th Vigil production. You don't need to have caught up on the first 4 to enjoy Quarry, but they do share a setting, characters, and some ongoing plot threads. Starting now, we'll release a new act of Quarry every other week, and to keep you going through the weeks in between, we'll release backstage episodes that give you a peek behind the scenes, so stay tuned for one of those next week. For now, though, please take your seats in the main house. Tonight's production is about to begin. Vigil, a Merely Role-Players main house production. Quarry, Act 1 of 4. Let's reintroduce ourselves to the players for this main house Vigil production, all of whom have been in Vigil before, but some voices that you won't have heard in a while, and a combination of voices that you will not have heard together before. So who do we have?
Hi, I'm Vicky. I'm playing Renko the Flake, and you will last have heard me in Vigil Playtime.
Hello, I'm Strat. I'm playing Brier the Monstrous, and you'll have last heard me in Vigil Cold Snap.
Hi, I'm Chris Starkey, and I'm playing Cameron the Wronged, and I was also in Cold Snap.
Hi, I'm Helen. I'm playing Melody the Constructed. You'll have heard me in Tourist Trap, but if you're listening to Studio as well, I believe you'll have heard me in Andromeda Ward and Lights Out in between.
Great. So, Vicky, we haven't heard from you in quite a long time.
Yes.
Are you excited to be back?
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I was essentially on maternity leave.
Yeah.
I mean, that is literally what I was doing.
Remember how to play the game?
I do remember just about how to play the game. I've listened to all of the episodes, which is more than you can say for Dave. So.
It's more than you can say for the other 3 of us. I imagine Matt's done a bit more. Oh no, Helen, have you?
Yeah, we're up to date on everything that's happening.
All the homework being done.
Well, we have a mix of preparedness. Regardless of how prepared you feel, are we all ready to play right now?
Yes!
14 years ago, a couple and their daughter were killed on a hillside outside Sheridan's Rosebrier forest. Tonight, the lone survivor of that attack has returned to the same site. Chris, can you describe that lone survivor?
He is in his early to mid-20s, like pretty stacked but like in a heavily built, strong sort of way, but not like strong man hits the gym, but just like fitness levels high. He's wearing an overly tight t-shirt with Ginny's shop logo on it. It's the only one that she had left over, and she hasn't let him buy another one. And he is looking a little bit, well, sad, I suppose, really, in the situation he's currently in. But he is, he's standing there and looking at the site where it happened.
Cam is a bit out of his element here because he's here to do some magic, which does not come naturally to him.
No. Magic and Cam aren't the best combination. Let's put it that way.
But needs must.
Absolutely.
You're here to enchant a weapon. And Ginny Greenteeth, who is currently very distracted by a legal battle, has still managed to take time out to design and teach Cam a ritual to imbue his axe with the power to destroy his hated enemy, ghouls.
Oh, baby.
And the ritual is this.
To enchant a weapon to avenge a wrong visited upon you, you must first take the weapon to the exact spot where you were wronged. You must anoint the weapon in your own blood, thus prophesizing the blood it will spill. You must then bury the axe and do not return for 3 nights.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, Cameron pulls out an axe, Gabby, and he looks at it. So it's like a fireman's axe, I suppose, like a sort of carbon fibre sort of body and steel head. And he sort of looks at it, and he's he doesn't really give much away at the best of times, but he's sort of staring at it, and he's staring at the spot where he remembers where the tent was, and he knows where he was with the rock in his hands, wearing a very different weapon in his mind. And he actually uses the blade of the axe to dig a small trench in the floor and lays the axe in there and takes that small pocket knife and just slices his hand and dribbles the blood over the axe. And as he does so, he sort of like pictures the moment where he smashed the head of a ghoul, and that moment where he's now covered in what he imagines to be ghoul blood, and he looks around to see the ripped tent, the bodies of his family around him. And as the blood drips onto the axe, it was like his fury and anger is also dripping out, and you can almost see like a shimmer come over the axe. And he does it more and more. He just keeps pumping in the nightmare that he's lived every night. The thing that allows him to remember these creatures is this nightmare that he has every night of this memory. He splatters it, basically just as much blood as he can squeeze out of his hand.
Take 1 harm. Who else is on the hillside to witness this ritual?
Brier's there to, I'd like to say, kind of add moral support.
Yeah, was Brier invited, or has Brier just shown up to witness this?
Brier has showed up and is currently watching this from the same spot that they watched or saw Cam brain the ghoul originally. And if Cameron had been listening out, and I imagine he's very much focused in his own world, so he probably hasn't noticed this, but I think there would have been kind of, just before he started the ritual, kind of growls and like rustles and squawks, as I think a lot of the Fae would have wanted to come and watch Cameron do magic, because he's not magic, and kind of poke fun at this human trying to do something. And actually, let me just check. Oh, sorry, Chris.
Brier is a mischievous, joyful Fae creature, and their pure drive at any given time is to be mischievous and partake in joy, and must make a really active effort to resist taking opportunities to play pranks.
Yeah.
And make themselves joyful. So Strat has just failed the roll to resist doing that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to resist it, so I rolled. So that's experience, because that was acting under pressure. Oh no! What
How
did
does
they do?
Brier interrupt this incredibly solemn moment?
Brier saw this from a tree originally.
Yes, what form is Brier in at this point?
Like
Brier is a shape-shifting púca fae.
They are a crow sat above the spot where it happened.
Ooh, an ominous form to take, especially around Cam.
Yes. Just as the climax of this ritual takes place, Cameron just suddenly feels a little bit wet on his head and on his ear, and the bird has pooped on Cameron's head and flutters down, lands on his shoulder, and squawks very loudly in his ear.
As Cameron is just finishing patting down the mud and the dirt, he just goes, "Fuck you, Tinkerbell. Fuck you so hard. Just not right now, mate. Not right now."
Crow pops down on the floor and becomes Brier.
What does Brier look like now that they've turned into their own form?
They are 2.5 foot tall. They are green with red hair and are wearing a white smock, no trousers. Donald Duck in it. I thought you lot thought being pooped on by birds was good luck. I thought you might want some. Did it work?
Time and a place, Tink. Just time and a place, mate.
It'll work.
Okay. Yeah. He just wiped his ear and just wipes it in Tinkerbell's face. "I'll see you later." And he stands up and starts walking away.
Cam, as you wipe your ear, you notice the sound of hoofbeats in the distance. Galloping hoofbeats.
Are you hearing that, Tink?
Yep, and it's not me.
And as you were turning to go, and as you say that, they've drawn closer. They felt like it sounded like they were sort of miles away on a distant track, and only seconds later, it sounds like they're on the hillside.
Brier instantly turns into their own horse form of Black Stallion and turns to face the source of the noise and kind of huffs and stamps their feet and gets ready, I guess.
Cameron has a duffel bag next to him, which he always brings with him everywhere he goes. And he just slides out a leather jacket, biker jacket, and a helmet goes over the head. And he just reaches back in and pulls out a shotgun. He goes, "All right then, Susie. Let's do this."
Brier, turning to face the direction that the hoofbeats are coming from, you see the moonlit hillside under the waxing moon. And you see a shape approaching in a blur, moving faster than the eye can track. In the moment that your eye fixes on this approaching shape, it is upon you both. A bulky, dark shape, taller than a man. It wheels in place, changing direction as it kind of bends its course around the two of you. You can just glimpse, it's still moving incredibly fast, but you can just glimpse as it corners the rough shape of a horse and rider. The rider is whipping round, and Brier, something comes towards you. It has whipped something in your direction, and you feel yourself splashed with something warm in a kind of weird mirror of having just, splashed Cameron yourself. Something coats Brier in their horse form. And then the shape is off again. The hoofbeats were thunderous as it moved around the two of you, and they are now swiftly withdrawing, again at unnatural speed, the shape still blurred.
What the fuck was that? Absolutely.
If either of you would like to roll, I think, investigate a mystery to see whether you can get a better idea of what this was as it passed.
Sure, this isn't
you
kick
can do
some
that.
ass, man.
It's kick some ass if you want to start shooting at it, sure. It's moving away at great speed, but it's within rifle range still. You could get the rifle up and get a shot off at it before it's out of range.
Oh, but we don't know whether it's hurt. Does Brier look hurt in my very quick scan?
Brier, you didn't feel any pain, so Brier is not in visible distress other than being confused at being covered in something.
Okay. Does he want to start a fight straight away?
This would
Cameron.
be what is Cameron's split second instinct, because Cam really only has a split second.
Yeah,
to decide
right.
what to
I
do
think
here.
he'd probably try to shoot the legs out of the horse, to be fair.
Okay.
So just with the shotgun, he sees something flying forward, he thinks, right, being attacked. Bang at the legs of the horse.
Okay, roll to kick some ass, plus tough.
Oh. So that is a 6. That's an 8 total.
Okay. You're pretty sure that the shot hit home. You saw a slight deviation in course, but then it's out of sight over the next rise, still moving away at incredible speeds, and the sound of hoofbeats has now fully faded.
Brier shifts into the form of a dog, basset hound, flavour of the month.
Sure.
And does the thing that dogs do when they shake to get all of the stuff off of them. Does it come off like water?
When Brier in dog form shakes, there is definitely a spray of droplets.
Pink, stop it, will you, please, mate? Come on.
And once done, Brier's going to give a good old sniff, and I want to investigate a mystery and see if I can work out what this stuff is.
It smells of blood.
I would like to investigate the mystery and see if I can find out more about what blood this is.
Of course it was blood. Yeah.
So
That
make
couldn't
a
work.
roll, and this covers both you kind of investigating the blood that you are now coated in,
Yeah.
and also replaying your memory of this incredibly fast event to see whether you spotted anything as it passed.
Cool. I'm using my gaining +1 because my form's superior sense of smell. But that's a fail, because that's a 6, which is a fail?
Yeah.
You didn't get a good enough look at this thing as it passed. So all you know is what I've already told you, that there was a vague shape of horse and rider, and it moved incredibly fast, and there was a sound of hoofbeats. And you're now covered in what smells like blood. The result of the fail is that you've splattered Cameron in it as well.
I'm swiping off the... I got a rag out of the duffel bag and I start to wipe. I'd like to have a look at the hoof prints. Do they look particularly larger, or do they seem unnatural? Obviously it was going super fast, but is there anything in my monstrous knowledge? Was it like a centaur sort of thing, or was it a man on a horse, or what can I tell from looking at the situation?
Roll to investigate a mystery.
Sharp. That is a 7 total.
7 total, so you get 1 question off investigate a mystery.
Okay, so what sort of creature was it then?
So Cam got a better look. Cam goes icy and dissociated in stressful situations, and you got kind of slow motion vision.
Sure.
So Cam saw that what just blurred past the two of you was a rider in dark red on a black horse carrying a bucket, and the rider had no head. And the rider swung the bucket and covered Brier in its contents as it blurred past.
I relate this to Brier. You've been around for a while, mate. Ever heard of a headless horseman?
Back into Brier form, now wearing red top. No, but still covered in this blood. And blood's not good. Blood's bad. Generally, if you're going to cover somebody in blood, it's not for a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Was it aimed at Brier specifically?
I don't think you can work that out with the rolls that you've done.
It's a
so
bigger
far.
target, I guess. Because you're a big horse, weren't you, at the time?
It was a big horse.
The things that you do notice, though, are, first of all, as Brier shifts shape, they are remaining covered in blood. And as Cameron gets a rag and, dabs or brushes at the blood that has been spattered on him, it's not coming off.
Thanks, Brier.
What?
Thanks for splattering with this unremovable blood. Irremovable, whatever it's called.
Rub, rub, rub. Oh, well, I mean, I got it off by shaking. Maybe shake?
I'm not...
Have a shake.
I'm not...
Just try it. Give it a good little shake. Just got to use that hip action.
I'm not shaking. I'm not... Cameron slowly shakes to see whether it works, because magic is weird. And he shakes about...
But you might have to shake a little bit.
I'm not shaking... No, and he walks off.
All right, lovies. It's me, Matt, your compere. While the players are getting ready for their next scene, why don't we take a little look through the programme together? So first and most obvious thing to say is we are back in your headphones. I hope you're happy to have us back. We didn't actually really go away. We were still doing stuff all the whole time that we weren't releasing episodes here on the podcast feed. In case you missed it, you should be checking out our YouTube channel, where you can find an entire season of The Feed. In that series, we were playing a game called Unreal by Black Armada Games, and it is me and Josh and Ellen playing contestants in a Big Brother house where something very weird is going on. It's our very first foray into video recording and a video series. I think it worked out pretty well. I think there's some good creepy, slow burn, slightly comic horror going on there. So if you missed that, it's now available to binge in full, short, sort of 5 to 6 minute episodes. Go grab the playlist on our YouTube channel. You can find that linked from merelyroleplayers.com. Next item. If you enjoy what we do here in our main house productions, where we're playing Monster of the Week in the ongoing Vigil story set in Sherrydown, you might be interested also in the Sherrydown Inquirer, which is a semi-regular, when I am able to find time to put them together, publication that first of all gives you all of the tools and information and stats and things that you need to run the same adventures that we are playing with your own Monster of the Week group. So you still need a copy of Monster of the Week by Michael Sands and Evil Hat, but the Sherrydown Inquirer will let you play against the Playtime Sharks or the Winter King from Cold Snap or the Tourist Trap, and give you all of the details about locations, non-player characters, monsters, minions, etc. that you need to make that happen, and see whether your Monster of the Week group might make different decisions to ours, and whether you might do better or worse against the monster than we do. And then the other half of the Sherrydown Inquirer is a kind of lore supplement for the Sherrydown setting. So if you're enjoying Vigil and you want a little bit more background, a little bit more backstory and history for the location, some of the things that have happened in the past of the town, some more details about how the omission effect works or how the Department of Omission's Doom operates, you can find all of that in issues of the Sherrydown Inquirer. My original plan with these was that as a season or a production of Vigil ended, the corresponding issue of the Sherrydown Inquirer would come out. I've never quite managed to stick to that. I've got a little bit behind. But the issue for Tourist Trap, our third Vigil series, is now available. Because that's now available, I've dropped the price of the Playtime and Cold Snap issues, and the Bad Dog issue is on its way very soon. I'm fully intending to catch up so that when this production ends, as the last episode drops, you'll be able to pick up the Quarry issue of the Sherrydown Inquirer and get straight to playing through this same mystery that you've just heard the first part of. If you do pick up the Sherrydown Inquirer, and if you do play any of these mysteries with your Monster of the Week group, I would love to hear about it, and I want to hear all the details of what happened differently to when we played it. You can find all of the issues of the Sherrydown Inquirer by going to merelymat.itch.io or going to foggyoutline.com and clicking on Games. The links to that and to the feed are also going to be in the show notes for this episode. Next up, I want to make sure you all know about Rhyne. That's Ryne, which is a new role-playing game from Furtive Shambles. I'm really glad that we managed to get back on the air in time to promote this, because Rhyne is crowdfunding on Indiegogo right now, and it's actually in the final few days. It has met its goal, but I'm in time to tell you to go throw them some money and help them unlock some really cool stretch goals. I met the Furtive Shambles team at Dragon Meet the first year I went in the podcast zone, promoting their show These Flimsy Rituals, which I highly recommend. And for the first season of that, they are playing a prototype version of this game, Rhyne. It's all about people journeying and travelling and learning to live in harmony with these landscapes shaped by enormous godlike titans, some of which are dead and dying, poisoning the land, affecting the land around them, others of which kind of amble around, hardly aware of the existence of the people around them. The setting is really, really kind of quiet and spooky and a lot of the time sad, but also very hopeful. And the mechanics are really interesting as well. It's powered by the apocalypse, similar to Monster of the Week, so rolling 2 six-sided dice, adding something, and getting this range of outcomes from miss to full success. But instead of stats like we have here in Monster of the Week, your characters have different emotions, and what you add to your role depends on how your character is feeling at that particular time. If you listen to the first season of These Flimsy Rituals, you'll hear that in action. And if you head to the Indiegogo page for Rhyne, and in fact there's a free play kit available as well, you'll be able to see how the Furtive Shambles team have evolved that into something that I think is really interesting and kind of unique in the role-playing game area. So head to the link in the show notes for this episode to the Rhyne Indiegogo campaign. Check it out, grab the play kit, see if you like the look of it, have a look at all of the campaign materials on that page, and hopefully you'll feel like pledging them some cash to help them unlock some cool new stuff. Finally, before I go call beginners for the actors to get ready for their next scene, I just want to tell you about another show that you might enjoy. I feel like we here sit at the intersection of role-playing games and theatre nerds and lovies. And so I think anyone listening to us would get a kick out of Play On podcasts. This is a series that reimagines Shakespeare plays for a modern audience, for an audio-first medium. The plays are rewritten in modern English verse, featuring original musical composition, featuring award-winning actors, and written especially for the podcast medium. Right now they're doing Twelfth Night, and helpfully the productions break down into bite-sized kind of 25-minute, half-hour episodes, but then once a production is finished, they helpfully also drop the entire production as one single episode. So you can go back and enjoy their previous productions like Macbeth and King Lear as single self-contained episodes, or you can follow along with the current Twelfth Night as it's going. It's drama, it's theatre, it's for podcast lovers. I think if you like us, you'll really like them. So go ahead, subscribe to Play On podcasts wherever you usually get your podcasts. Right now, though, please return to your seats in the main house. The next scene is about to begin. The next day, in Melodies' cafe and record shop, Renko is there doing paperwork.
Oh boy, so much paperwork.
While Melody is tending shop.
Melody looks mostly human female-like. She is quite casually dressed in a sort of alt-hippie-ish type of way. She's heavily tattooed.
And if one were to look very closely, one might notice that many of the tattoos are hiding scars and stitching.
Yeah.
But one would have to look pretty close, and a normal person would probably forget that they'd seen that after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, there's some good cover-up work being done. Yeah.
Renko is a human woman in her mid-30s. She still insists on wearing what was her sort of agency uniform, which is a kind of pretty tatty sort of navy blue suit over a white t-shirt. And she is sat at a table in Melodies with a big stack of papers in front of her and a couple of books and some things that look like the notes of Percy Byron from a recent mystery that she is trying to make sense of so that she can do some kind of reasonable level of cover-up of the big mess that everybody made. Can I roll to connect the dots?
Of course,
Woo!
yes!
Whoa!
Thank you for the reminder. This is the beginning of the mystery for Renko.
Okay.
It's a roll that the flake can make at the start
Here we
of
go.
a mystery.
First good roll of the game.
So I do roll plus sharp, which is 2. 8, 9, 10.
Yay!
Which means I get to hold 2.
Yeah.
Give me
Great.
2 of those little skull tokens. Matthew, thank you very much.
And so at any point during this production, Vicky can spend one of those tokens to ask a question that will tie things into the wider mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Or a wider mystery of her choosing.
Yeah.
There may be many ongoing.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Do we reckon Melodies is busy at this point, or is it kind of just Melody and Renko
What
chilling?
time of day?
I think it's during the day. During the day on a weekday, so probably not packed.
No. If it's
Maybe
not
before the
lunchtime.
lunch crowd.
Okay.
Yeah. Mid-morning.
Yeah, there might be you and someone else taking advantage of the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing, so.
What is Melody supplying Renko with? Is it steady supplies of coffee and pastries?
Yeah, I think Renko probably has to be a black coffee kind of
Yeah.
gal, doesn't she? Yeah. Yeah, and definitely, yes, pastries if they're available.
Always.
Yeah. Does Renko have a tab?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which sometimes a bit gets paid towards. I will remind everybody that, cakes and pastries are available because Melody can detach her body parts, which means she can leave her hands to bake overnight while she
It's brilliant.
recharges.
So
Amazing.
efficient. Such efficiency.
Come
Renko
on
really
down.
respects that. So I think I'm probably doing quite a lot of huffing and puffing over this information that I have out in front of me because I'm pretty irritated about everything that I'm having to try to deal with.
Melody comes over with a fresh coffee and switches the cups over and goes, "How's it going?"
Some of this is this is absolutely wild. It's so difficult to try and make head nor tail of it. This is why I've just, if I'm involved from the beginning, it's just better, really, for being able to try and make some semblance of sensible decisions.
Well, sometimes these things happen and they might have kept you out of it if they thought they could because they wanted to keep you safe.
Well, yeah, okay, fine, but that is not really everyone else's job, is it? So now I've got this huge stack of nonsense to try and make sense of, and a lot of, questions from people at the council that I'm just trying to, smooth over. So, it's doable, but I'm just a bit annoyed about the amount of work that it's going to take.
I don't know why Percy feels the need to write some of it in rhyming couplets either.
I know, it's really frustrating, and I think some of it feels like it's completely in code, and really, why does she insist on writing it all down? At least she took some notes, unlike everybody else.
The door to the cafe opens, and standing in the doorway is a large man, now scanning the interior. barrel-chested, wearing a pinstripe charcoal grey suit that used to fit better than it currently does. A craggy lined face. He has one of his hands is inside his jacket. And Renko would see this is a jacket that is cut to hide an armpit holster. This man is Ernest Bering, an agent of the Department of Emissions. Renko may or may not be acquainted with Ernest. So Renko, before she was furloughed and her team disbanded, worked as a sort of embedded agent as part of a community team here in Sherrydown specifically. Ernest is based at Department of Emissions HQ in London and travels all over the country doing kind of troubleshooting and specific projects and missions and things. So your paths may or may not have crossed in terms of personally meeting. Mm-hmm. You may be tangentially aware of him. What do you reckon? When he walks through the door, is there recognition?
Yeah, I think I know of him. I feel like he has a level of fame at the agency that everyone, like, it's much more likely that I know who he is and he has no idea who I am. Or like maybe we have met at like, you know, company picnic or something at some point in the past, but my expectation is that I would fall beneath his notice and he'd be unlikely to remember me, whereas he looms pretty large in the agency, so I would remember him. I think my immediate concern is just putting away any documentation that I have so that if he happens to come over and speak to me, he doesn't spot anything related to the things that have been going on in Sherrydown that are maybe supposed to fall beneath the agency's notice, including probably the existence of Percy.
Given that, it is perhaps surprising that after doing a brief scan of the cafe, Bering's eyes lock on yours, Renko, and he comes over to your table. Renko, isn't it?
That's right, sir.
Is this, can we talk here?
Renko just has a little scan around.
His eyes flick to Melody.
This is a perfectly safe place for us to have a discussion. But if there's somewhere more private we need to go to, then I can arrange that.
He pulls out the chair opposite you and sits down heavily. Renko, I've got an assignment for you.
Assignment, sir? I'm on furlough, technically.
I know. That's what makes you perfect for it. It's very hush-hush. Renko knows immediately that this is a lie.
Yes, thought so. saw that one coming a mile off.
Whatever Ernest Bering is here to talk about, it is not an official assignment from the Department of Emissions.
Go on, sir. Tell me more.
Out of his jacket, he pulls... Look, it looks almost like a wedding invitation. Like a small A6 card, textured paper, calligraphy on it, and puts it on the table in front of you. Very faintly, in one corner, there is a little scattering of blood. It says, "You are cordially invited to join the hunt. Muster point, Abbey Links Clubhouse, Sherrydown." And it is signed Trelane, Master, and Sharrock, Huntsman. Ernie leans down over the table, still with one hand inside his jacket. This was delivered anonymously to the Department of Emissions a couple of days ago. We're not sure exactly what it refers to, but you're the only agent still on the books with specific knowledge of this place and what the significance of this might be.
Right, sir. Can I ask which agent received the invitation?
Renko may well ask this because she can tell that this was another lie.
Yes.
That's need to know, Renko.
I feel like maybe I need to know that information, sir.
The assignment is simply investigate this location, investigate these names, investigate what this hunt might be, and turn aside any danger that it might represent.
So were you sent the invitation?
I'm trying to work out what is a good role here.
It is investigate.
I think
or
this is
it
investigate a
manipulate?
mystery.
Okay.
Oh.
You're trying to get information
Yeah.
from Ernie about this.
Ooh, it's not looking good. It's a 5, 6, 7.
Okay, you get one question off investigate a mystery.
Yeah, what is being concealed? Yeah, what is being concealed here?
Yeah, he doesn't directly answer the question, but just whatever it is, whatever technique Renko is using to figure out that he's telling big porkies.
Mm-hmm.
You can
It's
also,
those tiny facial expressions. That's how she does it.
Yeah, watching micro expressions.
Yeah.
When you ask the direct question, were you sent this? He doesn't answer directly, but you know the answer is yes.
Okay, yeah.
This was an invitation sent not to the Department of Admissions, but to Ernie specifically.
Interesting.
And he is trying to get you to investigate it while thinking that it is a DO assignment, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Another answer to that what is being concealed here question, because obviously that question covers a multitude of sins in this particular situation, that the hand inside Ernie's jacket, he's clamping down on a wound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not removed it the entire time.
He's not removed it the whole time, and he sat down very heavily. He's hurt and trying to hide it.
Yeah, not hiding it very well.
What is Melody doing while this conversation's happening?
I'm hoping she's eavesdropping real hard.
I would like to think that Melody has got good hearing, so she can
Put your ears
hear.
wherever you
Because
want,
there's
right?
an ear under the table.
It's when you place a bug on something, take off ear, double-sided sticker tape under the table.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, just pop it off and so I'm convinced that she can hear everything and that Ernie wouldn't know, but she's just busying with her back turned far enough away that he isn't too worried about what she can hear.
You're in a position that if you feel it's necessary, you could sort of turn up to the table and be like, can I get you anything? And interject in the conversation.
Yeah, I think that would absolutely be what she would do if she felt that it was getting heated, because she would want to keep Renko out of any trouble. But it seems calm at the moment, even though she's got no idea who Ernie is.
Sir, is there anything else you want to mention at this point that might assist me in my investigation?
Just one thing. There's a young man here in town. His name is Cameron Jarvis. Keep him out of this. It's vitally important, understand?
Okay, yeah, sure. Wasn't planning to involve him anyway. He seems like a right loose cannon.
Oh, you are familiar with the young man?
I mean, I've come across him, but we've not had much to do with each other. How do you know him?
As you ask that question, the two of you both hear, and actually Ernie's head sort of perks up at this point as well, the distant sound of hoofbeats on cobblestones. And Renko, you see Ernie visibly react to this, not just like somebody who's just heard a horse, but somebody who seems alarmed and scared.
Okay.
Well, we've got cobbled streets, haven't we? So I don't know how often there are horses,
Just trotting
but it's
through the
going to
middle
be
of town.
distinct on cobbles, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
therefore, wibbly horse
Horse.
is going to be strange sounding. I'm glad I went with wibbly.
Yes. I think if you didn't hear a horse in town very often, I would be, like, if he wasn't there and looking visibly scared, I might at least be, like, at the window, like, is Brier trotting through town as a horse? Or what's going on?
Taking someone else for a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Melodies Cafe is on Sheridan's High Street, the Market Street, which is a historic cobbled market street.
Are you all right, sir? You look a little perturbed.
We should be all right. Just wait for it to pass.
I'm sorry, is the sound... This is... Okay, it's all connected. Fine. Okay. Yeah, well, I knew it all along.
Melody's going to go and have a look.
Yeah, why
Okay.
not?
Because there's part of her that's just like a bored local person. So she's going towards the door to
Yeah, look out.
open. Yeah.
In the time it takes Melody to get from the counter to the door of the cafe, the hoofbeats have gone from distant to thunderously right upon you. And as Melody opens the door of the cafe, something bulky blurs past the door, and Melody is drenched.
Oh, God.
It's broad daylight, so everybody can see very clearly right now. Blood.
Oh my goodness, Melody, you okay? Wait, that's not you. It's not your blood.
No, I don't know what's happened. I'm not hurt.
The hoofbeats have already withdrawn down the other end of Market Street. Ernie pushes his chair back, like jumps out of his seat as much as he can in his state, and is like stepping away from Melody. What is she? This has been Vigil, a main house production from Merely Roleplayers. It stars Helen Stratton as Melody, Chris Starkey as Cameron Jarvis, Vicky as Renko, and Strat as Brier. Sound design for this production is by Helen Stratton, and the theme music is by Alexander Pankhurst. I'm Matt Boothman, and I play the supporting cast, as well as editing and producing the episode. We were playing Monster of the Week, a role-playing game by Michael Sands, published by Evil Hat Productions. You can find Monster of the Week at genericgames.co.nz. Merely Roleplayers is a Foggy Outline production in association with Blackshaw Theatre Company. Until next time, if drama be the food of life, play on. And Renko, you see Ernie visibly react to this, not just like somebody who's just heard a horse, but somebody who seems alarmed and scared.
Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to imagine what somebody who's just heard a horse might react like. And that's a specific answer person that's heard a horse.